I understand that we have two persons here this morning. The first is Mr. Enrique Liban, who I had been erroneously told was here with Silk, but it is my good friend, Mr. U.C. Anderson, who is here on his behalf. So I did ask that perhaps Mr. Liban would be taken first because counsel is here.
Good morning, Mr. Anderson.
My Lord, good morning. I wish you, your family, fellow commissioners, and council, and everyone assembled here only the best wishes for 2023. I take my learned friend's future premonition quite well. I look forward to changing material. Denim and other materials can be pretty problematic at times, but silk always feels lighter on the skin.
It does.
My Lords, with your leave this morning, it is my pleasure to enter an appearance for and on behalf of Mr. Enrique Liban. May I humbly submit as well that as we speak, Mr. Liban is on Zoom court before her worship, the Chief Magistrate and the plenary. And I try to make this as brief as possible so that we can get back on the Zoom for that. She's giving a ruling on a preliminary point for one of the criminal proceedings involving him in which he's a named defendant.
So that, what would be his position insofar as...
The briefest of positions, please, my Lord. And that position is he will invoke his right to remain silent, having regard to the fact that he is presently before other courts in Guyana, charged with diverse offences related to the mandate of this commission.
Yeah, we understand that. Mr. Anderson, he would have to appear in response to the summons and so indicate.
Absolutely, my Lord. Absolutely.
When would that be?
Right now, please.
He's here?
Yes, please.
Yes, he can come forward.
Thank you so much, my Lord.
Do you swear to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Could you have your full name, address, and occupation, please, sir?
My name is Enrique Alexander Liban, Occupation Assistant Registration Officer, address 39 Patterson Turkey.
We have heard from your attorney, Mr. Anderson, this morning, who represents you in this matter. And I must tell you, we are aware that you are the subject of certain criminal charges arising out of the March 2020 regional and general elections. As a consequence, Mr. Liban, you are not bound to, you have the right to silence. That is, you're not bound to say anything in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. You're not bound to respond to any questions put to you by any of the commissioners, nor by counsel for the commission. But simply you are not bound to testify before us today. What do you wish to do?
Mr. Liban, before you answer, in addition to what the chairman has advised you, I'd like to say to you that this commission has evidence before it in which you have been identified with certain events at the Ashman's building in the 5th of March 2020 period. So I ask you to bear that in mind in making your decision.
Yes.
I wish to remain silent.
Thank you very much. You are relieved from attendance.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, my Lords. Please enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.
Take care. Respected take leave.
I am advised that I think it's former Deputy Commissioner of Police, Maxine Graham, is also here. She has indicated she did not wish to speak with counsel to the commission, but she wishes to go into the witness box.
Please let her come forward. morning to you, ma'am. Could you give us your full name, address, and occupation, if any?
My name is Maxine Graham. My address is 57 Phoenix Park, West Bank, Demerara.
Occupation, if any?
I'm presently retired.
And Mrs. Graham, during the period March 20th, to be more specific, and during the period of the regional and general elections of that year, you held the office of Deputy Commissioner of Police?
Yes. Yes, Commissioner.
And you're here this morning to assist us in response to someone said to
Yes, Commissioner.
on that day, what were your duties?
On which
That is to say, on the, just deal with the 5th, during the period 20th, 2nd to the 5th of March, 2nd to the 5th of March, what were your duties?
On the 2nd to the 5th of March, I was a Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations, and my duties were stated from the Commissioner that I'm the liaison with GCOM.
Prior to that date, did you have meetings with GCOM?
Yes, I did.
You did, okay. And those meetings had to do with the role of the police force during the period of the elections.
Yes, sir.
As the officer responsible for operations, do you recall the 5th of March?
Yes, Commissioner.
On that day, you remember what specifically, did you get any instructions from the commissioner on that day?
On the 5th of March, we would normally have meetings because it was election period, and we would normally have meetings.
Could you speak a little louder, please, and maybe into the mic?
Okay. On the 5th of March, generally between the election period, we would normally have meetings. But on that day, I had no specific instructions. It was just the rollover from the 4th, and work commenced on the 5th.
Do you recall Commander Thomas?
Yes, I do.
And on the 5th of March, were you in touch with him?
Not all the time.
You had several.
I had two or three encounters with him.
Where was he during that period of time? Do you recall?
Just 1 minute, Commissioner.
Commissioner, may I respectfully require of what the witness is looking at before she testifies?
Mrs. Graham, would you tell us, you're looking at certain documents?
It's not a document. This was one of the notepads that I had when I was working in the office as Deputy Commissioner. And actually, I did prior to, on the 5th, I submitted a statement. I wrote a statement as to some events that transpired, and I had it. So when I was summoned, I summarized my stuff into the book. And that is why I asked if I can use this, because it's 2020 and this is 2023.
So on the 5th, you took notes?
On the 5th, I took notes.
And those notes have since been transcribed into a notepad?
Into my book. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But you say you wrote a statement at some point in time.
Yes, I did.
Would you have any specific objections to making the statement available to us?
No, I think that is for my personal use. I will not be submitting the statement because I take from the statement and put it into my documentation that I walk with today.
I don't want to pry into your personal business, but I want to ask you, you wrote a statement in relation to your engagements, your role, your exchanges,
Yes.
whatever involvement you had in the 5th of March period.
Not the 5th of March, in the general period.
In the general elections period?
Yes, some specific dates.
I see. Okay.
Not specifically on the 5th.
Okay,
That
of March.
included
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I was asking you about the 5th of March and your communication with then Commander Thomas.
Yes, Commissioner.
And you said you had communication with him
Yes, I had
on
about
at
2 or
least
3.
3 occasions.
Yes, Commissioner.
And on those occasions, where was he?
On the first occasion when I had a communication with Mr. Thomas at 08, between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, is when he called me. And at that time, he said he was heading to the GCOM building at Ashland because he received information that there was a bomb scare in the morning between 8 and 9. That is when he
Having received that information from Commander Thomas, did you do anything in your capacity as Deputy Commissioner on Operations?
I did not do anything at that time because he said he was heading there with the bomb team
Yes.
and he will feed me back.
Did he in fact feed you back?
He did feed me back.
And what did he say to you?
And he said that there's a number of persons in the building and the bomb team cannot get to do its work. And they left.
The bomb team left.
Yes.
Again, as a result, did you do or say anything to him further?
No, I did not say anything to him further then.
And you had another conversation with him at some time?
Yes, I had another conversation with him at 10 hours the 7 morning.
And where was he then, do you know?
Well, I can't say at that time because actually A Division and senior officers were given a radio set. And the radio set had a built-in system of a camera. So we could have seen from our office what was happening at Ashland Building and around Georgetown. Because the system, the Huawei system, is a system that was initiated by the government of Guyana, and it's now housed at the convention center in Liliendal. And after that was installed, they gave us sets, they gave the police sets. So we had the sets, so I could have seen from my office, Ashland Building.
And when did you see Commander Thomas?
No, I did not see him,
But you spoke to him.
but I spoke to him.
And on that occasion, what was the nature of the conversation?
On that occasion, I indicated to him that I'm seeing a lot of traffic in and around the building, and he should head down there if he's not there. He said, then is when I realized that he was not there because he said he had his systems in place and his sufficient ranks on the ground, and he do not have to go down there at that time. That was at 10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
Around 10, a little after 10.
Later that day, did you again communicate with him?
Later that day, I tried to communicate with him at
About what time?
around midday
Yes.
because I was seeing the set built up in the building. And I tried communicating with him and he did not answer his cell phone. Immediately, I communicated with the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Leslie James, informing him that I'm trying to make contact with Mr. Thomas in respect of what I'm seeing, the crowd by the entrance of Ashland Building and vehicles in and out of the police corridor. And he tell me, okay, he will make contact with Mr. Thomas.
Okay. So having told you that, did he subsequently communicate with you? That is to say, Mr. James, whether or not he communicated?
I waited a while, but at the same time I was doing other things too, because divisions had to be calling me and different
Yes.
persons, so I was doing other things and looking at the set and moving, doing other stuff. But I see a while, and he did not call me. So my assumption is that maybe they're communicating. But I still see, coming on to 2 in the afternoon, the crowd is there, and I see people start to move from the first floor to go to the second floor. And because Ashland has 3 floors, the first, the second, and the third floor. And I saw persons moving to go to the various floors. So I decided to call his phone again.
Whose phone?
Assistant Commissioner Edgar Thomas' phone.
Yes.
I called his cell phone repeatedly, and I did not get any answer from him. I then called his landline, 226-1389. That is the landline for the commander in A Division.
Yeah.
And when I called the landline, he answered. And when he answered the landline, then I told him, I said, Assistant Commissioner, there's a situation at the GCOM building at Ashman. And I'm calling you on your cell phone, and you're not answering. And surprisingly, you're in your office. He said his set is charging. I said, even if your set is charging, I'm calling you on the phone, but you're not answering me. I said, you're to head to Ashman now, because there's a situation there from what I'm seeing on the camera. Persons are moving from the first floor to the second and to the third floor. And he said, you have systems in place. I said, you cannot have systems in place when what I'm seeing happening, and look, I'm seeing on the camera, Senior Superintendent Azor on the ranks are in a tussle with people there, and you said that you have systems in place. You have to get additional ranks. Here him on the set, he's asking for backup. He's asking for backup.
Who is asking for backup?
Azor was asking for backup on the radio set. I said, he's asking for backup. I said, you have to go down there immediately. And he came off the phone. And thereafter, I spoke to Commissioner.
You spoke to the commissioner?
Yes, thereafter I spoke to Mr. Thomas there.
You conveyed to him?
And I spoke to Commissioner, and I conveyed to him that I got Mr. Thomas on his landline, 226, what I give to you, landline. And I said, and he answered me on the landline, surprisingly, because he's supposed to be at Ashman. And I said, and I indicated to him of all that was happening, and he said he was monitoring it also. And as such, he decided to call the chair, that is Madam Chair.
He, the commissioner?
The commissioner. After I told him what I was seeing on the set, and he said he was seeing it also, and then he said he was trying to get Mr. Thomas all the time, and he's not getting Mr. Thomas. And then he told me as such, he would have to relieve Mr. Thomas of his duties. After I
told you that you would have to relieve.
He said, he told me
yes,
that I must inform Mr. Thomas that he would be relieved of his duties.
He would be relieved of his duties?
Yes, he would be relieved of his duties.
He tell you when he would be relieved of his duties?
He said he would be relieved. He didn't say when. He said he would tell Mr. Thomas he would be relieved of his duties, and he will hand over to his deputy.
Having received such instructions from Mr. James,
Yes.
did you communicate that to Mr. Thomas?
Well, during that time, we had the removal of the chair from the building and all of that. And subsequently, around 19 hours, I called Mr. Thomas, and he answered me. And I said, I'm seeing you because I was seeing him. He was at Ashman's building. I said, I'm seeing you, you're at Ashman's building. He said, yes, he's at Ashman's building. I said, I just called you to inform you that Commissioner indicated, he instructed me to inform you that you will be relieved of your duties, and you have to hand over to Senior Superintendent Azor. And he hung up the phone, and that is what I have. That's the communication.
That is all he said to you?
That is all he said to me.
And you took a note of that?
No, I didn't. No,
No, I just asked.
no, sir.
But he said he did not respond to you.
No, you did not respond.
He did not say to you, Mr. Graham, well then I am leaving.
No.
Words to that effect.
Sorry, sir. No, he did not tell me that. After I told him what I told him, he did not respond to me, and then I cut the phone.
Did you communicate with Senior Superintendent Azor, or the Commissioner told you, that Thomas had been relieved of his post, and he, Azor, was in charge?
Well, he did not give me the instructions to give to Mr. Azor. He told me to give instructions to Mr. Thomas.
So you never gave Azor any
So
instructions?
I did not give Mr. Azor the instructions that he must take over the division. I assume that that is Commissioner's position. If he had instructed me
You would have done.
Ms. Graham, you were identified as the liaison between the police and GCOM.
Yes, Commissioner.
Which GCOM officials were you in contact with?
I was in contact with the CEO, that is Mr. Lowenfield. I was in contact with the DCO, Ms. Myers. I was in contact with the IT technician, Mr. Giddings, O'Neill Giddings. And I was in contact with Mr. Stewart, who is the Chief Security Officer. And from time to time, the PA, Mr. Hetzberger, who is the CEO personal assistant.
Yes.
Those were the persons.
At any time in your exchange with the DCEO, Ms. Myers, did she indicate to you that she had requested of Mr. Thomas that he took steps to have the Ashman's building cleared of all persons on the 5th?
No, sir.
Ms. Myers never told you that.
No, sir.
Did, in your interaction with GCOM officials, did any GCOM official request of the police that the Ashman's building on the 5th of March be cleared of all persons?
No, sir.
Do you know a GCOM commissioner by the name of Sais Gunraj?
Yes, sir, I know Mr. Bernard. Tony Applaud.
Are you aware that there was an issue where Mr. Sais Gunraj was being asked to leave the Ashman's building on the 5th of March?
No, Commissioner, I'm not aware. I'm aware after the fact, but not on the 5th.
You learned of that after. Do you know that special branch officers were in the Ashman's building?
Well, I cannot say because special branch wear civilian clothing, and even if they were there, I cannot say because, as I said, I saw a lot of persons in civilian clothing. I can't. Oh.
I'm not speaking of your knowledge of,
Okay.
the actual presence of the people, but the fact that they were there.
I don't know about that, Commissioner.
You were never so advised.
No, Commissioner.
Just before Mike, let me just ask one question to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Commissioner.
The tactical unit of the Guyana Police Force would also fall under you as operations, as a person responsible for operations.
Yes, Commissioner. They do.
Did you, or were you instructed by the Commissioner, Mr. James, to have the tactical unit at Ashman's building on the 5th?
No, Commissioner. I was not instructed, and I'm not aware that they were there until I see them there. I was not informed by anyone that they're going there.
In the normal course of things, if the tactical unit, having regard to the nature of their duty, is being called out, would you, as a Deputy Commissioner of Operations, be aware of it?
Yes, sir. I should be aware.
And on that day, you were not aware of it?
No.
Neither were you given any briefing by the Commissioner
No, Commissioner.
on it.
No,
But you
Commissioner.
became aware of it
Yes.
when? On the 5th. Their presence.
When I viewed, as I indicated, there's a camera that you can see.
Yes.
So I saw them entering the building.
Having seen them there, did you make any inquiries of the Commissioner or any other person as to what may have warranted their presence there?
But I did not make any inquiries until the following day when we had the meeting.
Yes.
And the Commissioner indicated that he took the position to send the tactical services unit here as the Commissioner.
Did he tell you why? Did he tell you
No, well, he didn't tell me why, and
He said,
how the structure of the system.
yes. And as he
Yes.
made that informed decision.
The tactical services unit is a highly trained anti-riot unit. I'm asking.
Yes, it is.
It is. And on this camera, you could see both in and out of the Ashlands building.
Certain areas you can see,
Yeah.
but not the entire building as per se, but you can see the entrance, stairways, and certain parts.
Okay. Did you see a riot in the Ashlands building on the 5th of March? Note my question. Did you see a riot in the Ashlands building on the 5th of March?
I would actually want to say a riot,
Thank you.
but okay.
You answered my question. Now, your evidence is that no.
Excuse me, sir.
Would you like some water?
Yes. Yes, sir.
No GCOM official ever requested of you, as the police force's liaison with them.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
So there is no request of me.
No GCOM official ever requested of you, as the police force's liaison with them, police intervention in the Ashlands building on the 5th of March.
No, sir. They did nothing to inquire from me, but I cannot say if they inquire from any other person.
So I'm speaking of you as
No.
the liaison with them.
Okay, well, no.
When they want something, they get on to you.
Not everything they do get on to me, because it have things that they get on to the commissioner also.
GCOM people were
Yes,
also speaking
with
with
the commissioner.
You know that as a fact that GCOM officials were also speaking to the commissioner that day?
I'm not speaking about the day, I'm speaking in a general term,
No, so
but not on,
Commissioner is asking about
I cannot say on that day.
So you don't know if they
No,
were?
no, I don't.
But your understanding is that liaison means you are the go-between between GCOM
Yes.
and the police force?
Yes.
Deputy Commissioner, we've heard from Mr. Thomas, and he told us that it was on the 6th of March that you called him to tell him that he was no longer in command of the division.
That is not true. That is untrue.
What number were you calling him on? You gave us his landline number. Can you tell us
I
his?
cannot remember this number offhand right now. I cannot remember it.
You didn't make a note anyway.
No, because it's numbers we normally use, but I can't. It's 3 years I'm home, so, you know, that's not a part of me.
What number were you calling him from?
I was calling him from my number, that's the police number.
What was that number?
I can't even remember, because they took the phones, so I don't, you know, Commissioner, be honest, I'm home, retired, and I don't get into the focus. I cannot remember the number right now. But if the number is called to me, I might be able to say, but I cannot remember the number offhand. Yes, Commissioner.
You said it was on the 5th you had the conversation with Mr. Graham.
Like,
Mr. Thomas.
yes.
Commissioner Singh suggested that, or said that Mr. Thomas said it was the 6th. Could there be a mistake on your part, or you're
I am sure,
you're certain?
I am certain that I spoke to him on the 5th around 19 hours the night, and it was at Ashman's building.
You're aware that several political party representatives were monitoring the security of ballots and statements of poll in the Ashman's building.
Well, I'm not aware because I don't know by what means they were monitoring it, so I'm not aware.
By their presence, they're seeing these things there. You didn't know that?
Yes, they were different.
Yes. And are you aware that the tactical services ranks cleared the Ashman's building of all political party representatives on the evening of the 5th of March? You were seeing what was taking place on the screen, on your camera.
Well,
Were you looking at the events of the police in the building?
yes, I was looking at the events, but as I indicated to you, when you get into the building, we can only, the camera was set, you could have seen the entrance, so I saw them went in. But to say what they were doing at various parts in the building, I cannot be able to tell you, but I can say what happens on the escalator going up, and I can say some of the things on the ground floor.
Ms. Graham, your evidence is that you saw the tactical services unit ranks go into the Ashman's building.
Yes,
But that's as much as you know.
yes,
You don't know what they did.
no.
Did you want to find out what they were doing there?
The following day, I indicated for in my evidence that the following day when we had the meeting, I was told that they were there and they were told to clear the building. That is when we had the meeting with Commissioner. The following day or 2 days after.
Yeah, this would be after the fact.
Yes.
I'm asking you, at the time when you saw them there at the Ashman's building, did you want to know what anti-riot unit was doing in this building?
Yes, I wanted to know
And
because
did you find out?
I did not find out. I told you before that I did not find out, but I subsequently told that Commissioner dispatched them there.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner.
Ms. Myers, you had liaisons on many occasions.
Yes.
Right, before and during the period 2nd to the 5th.
Yes, we had communication since in October when we were doing the voters list for the discipline
Specifically
services.
now during the period of the day of the 5th of March,
Yes, sir.
did you speak or did she speak with you?
I did not have any communication with Ms. Myers on the 5th of March.
At any time during that period, 2nd to the 5th, did she ask you that she wanted, well, she would not be in a position to give you would not take instructions on her.
No.
She can make suggestions to you,
Yes, she can. But then I would have to take the suggestions to Commissioner,
to the commission.
and then we would have to make a decision.
And any time during the period 2nd to the 5th of March, did she make any suggestions to you with respect to the removal of persons from that building?
No, Commissioner.
At any time while you were monitoring, did you see persons damaging equipment and throwing chairs?
That was the afternoon of the 5th. That is when I said I was calling Mr. Thomas, and then I called him
No,
up.
did you see that?
Yes, I saw
What did
chair.
you see?
I saw pulling and tugging because you had it pulled.
Pulling and tugging is one thing.
Okay.
Throwing chairs. chairs being hurled, in other words.
No, I didn't actually saw hurling of chairs, but I saw movements.
Movement.
Yes, people, fist
Did you
movements, people want to move.
Did
People want
you
to put
see person causing damage to equipment while you were monitoring?
I can't remember. Damaging of equipment, I can't remember.
If that was so, you would have taken some form of action.
Commissioner, as I mentioned earlier, when I saw what I saw, it's action that I was taking. I called Mr. Thomas on his landline and tell him to go down there.
No, I understand that.
Yes.
But if you would see persons damaging equipment, GCOM equipment, you would have, apart from calling Mr. Thomas and saying, go down there, you would have told him what you were seeing.
Yes,
But you don't recall that.
I can't recall.
How would you describe, Commissioner Singh asked you whether you saw a riot. You said no. How would you describe what you saw on the evening of the 5th of March?
Would the word a commotion help you?
No, I don't need thanks, Commissioner, but I just need to be focused for myself. Thank you, sir, but I need to focus for myself. Yeah, when I need help, if I do need help.
I take that in good faith.
Yes. What to say? The exact words for me to use is like, it was like a ruckus. But I don't want to say it was a, I don't want to use other terms, but for me, it was persons just tumbling on each other. You know, like it was like a ruckus there for me.
Thank you.
Just following on that, because
Yes.
I'd like to be clear. Right?
Yes.
You said to the chairman that you didn't see any damage to property.
I cannot remember. I cannot recall.
And you can only say what you
Yes, I
recall.
cannot recall because remember the place had a lot of people and persons were trying to get a particular place.
That's fine. I'm just
You know?
asking what you
Okay,
can
sir.
recall.
Yes, sir.
Did you see police officers being physically assaulted?
Yes, I saw that.
What did you see?
They had, they had the escalator. There was an escalator to get you to the second and the third floor, and you had the police officers. They were standing there like a shield,
Right.
and persons were. They actually wanted to get to the floor, so they actually pushed, you know, like fist them off to get where they wanted to.
I'm not from Guyana, so you
Okay.
forgive.
The term,
Fisting
yes.
off means they were punching the police
Yes.
officers. They were literally punching the
Yes,
officers.
and so that they can get the
They were punching the police
pushing them off, not like punching couple like this, but you
I
know.
mean,
They were
clearing the way.
Yes.
Yes. Did you see people brandishing any weapons or firearms?
Like I can't remember actually seeing weapon.
Or firearms.
Like I didn't actually saw that, but
What do you see?
no, but I didn't know. I didn't see any firearm. I didn't see that.
It would be a memorable thing if somebody
Yes.
pulled out or had or was displaying a
I didn't
firearm
see
in that
firearm.
context. Yes. All right.
Madam Council.
One moment, sorry. Graham,
Yes.
you're looking at this event at the Ashlands building, and see this ruckus, did you want to find out what was causing this?
Well, not a,
Did you want to find out what was responsible for the ruckus?
I had wanted to find out, and that was the reason I was calling Mr. Thomas too. So when he get down there, he would have informed me exactly, because we can only see, you're seeing, but you cannot hear everything, what is happening there, but you could have seen, but we can talk on the set as for communication purpose. But I cannot actually talk to people in the building, if you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, sir.
While the ruckus was ongoing, were you hearing shouts or screams of no, no, no?
That was wrong. Yes, sir, I heard that.
On this transmission set, if you were having an exchange with Thomas, could the commissioner hear the transmission?
I'm not too sure. I can't remember. It was set up in that way.
Was it a two-way set between you and Thomas only?
It's a set, I think Commissioner could have heard
Yeah.
if we talk on the set. Yes,
But apart from the set, you also had a WhatsApp group.
we had various WhatsApp groups. We had WhatsApp groups with the senior command.
But I mean the senior command, the commissioner, the deputy,
Yes, we had WhatsApp.
commanders, and the senior superintendents,
Not the senior superintendents,
senior-
really, the deputies.
the deputies,
Yes.
the commanders as well.
Yes, we had one WhatsApp group with the senior command, not with the deputies.
Not with the deputies.
Not with the
Senior superintendents.
not with the senior. Well, some divisions have senior superintendents, some divisions are deputies, and some superintendent are deputies also.
The
What-
WhatsApp group involving, headed by the commissioner, the deputy, commanders,
Yes.
would the senior superintendent Azor, would he have been on that group? Or to report? You don't report.
I can't recall if he was on that group, but what I know for sure, I had a WhatsApp group with all the deputies where he was a part. Because for operational purposes and transporting of boxes and when we commence work in the mornings, I had a group,
That's different WhatsApp.
a different WhatsApp group. But to remember exactly if the load was so wide with the commissioners' WhatsApp group, I really cannot remember the exact, but I had one with the deputies.
Thank you.
One more.
Yes, sir.
The purpose of creating a liaison between the police and GCOM, you would say, is to ensure that GCOM and police force are apprised of significant developments at the Ashman building.
Not Ashman Building per se, if we, but on
The elections.
for elections.
But I meant in relation
The Ashman, yes.
to the GCOM officials. There was an election on the way, counting, etc. Ashman. So I suppose what I'm trying to lead to is, you would expect that any major development at Ashman would filter through you as the liaison officer.
Yes.
And any major development from the police side, like sending tactical forces to clear the building, would be communicated from the police to a GCOM official. And look, we're about to do this because we see mayhem or something, correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
But you never made such a
They never
communication?
made a communication, but
To-
tactical.
No, no,
to me?
you never
No.
informed anybody at GCOM that this was going to happen.
No, sir, because it wasn't communicated to me.
Yes, I can understand that. Thank you.
Yes,
You told us earlier, Mr. Graham, that a day or two later at a meeting, you learned that the TSU ranks had cleared the Ashlands building of all political party representatives. Who were the people present at this meeting?
Okay, that was the meeting when Commissioner actually saw Assistant Commissioner Thomas with the deputies. And then he was relating to Commissioner, and Commissioner was relating to him, and he was there. That is when we had.
Who related that the TSU ranks had cleared the building? Commander Thomas?
I can't remember exactly the fine details.
No, I'm not asking about the...
No, but what...
Who made the disclosure that the TSU ranks had cleared the building of political party personnel?
Mr. Thomas indicated in the meeting that TSU arrived and he was not informed the night. And Commissioner indicated to him that he is the person that sent the tactical services unit. But I cannot say if it's to clear the building, to secure the building, I cannot say. But he told Mr. Thomas, I am the person that gave the instructions for TSU to go to the Ashlands building.
Have you looked at earlier proceedings of this commission?
Not really.
Not really, mean.
Well, from time to time I might, when I get the time, because I'm actually busy.
Did you have the time to look at the testimony of former Commissioner Leslie James?
Well, I looked at it last night because I know I was coming here this morning.
Yeah, I did.
So I actually,
I understand.
I actually browsed because I would normally be on my farm in different places, you know. So I took a look at it last night.
Yes. My question was not about who gave instructions for the TSU to go to the buildings.
Okay.
My question was, who revealed to the meeting that the TSU ranks who went there cleared the building?
Well, they did not say cleared. One person, Mr. Thomas, indicated that it is...
One moment. You told us earlier that you learned a day or two after the event that the TSU ranks had cleared the building, and that you learned from this meeting. So I'm asking, who made that disclosure? Was it Thomas?
I'm not too sure if that is what I said, but what I know at the meeting, I did not say about clearing of the TSU ranks, clearing political parties and agents and so. What I said at the meeting, Mr. Thomas indicated to Commissioner that while he was present, the TSU arrived. And no one informed him. And Commissioner said he gave the decision.
One moment. Is there some way that we can review this piece of evidence? Because it's important.
Of what the witness said?
Yes, about becoming aware that TSU ranks had cleared the building.
I'll have an inquiry made so perhaps it could be cleared, it could be replayed
Yes.
for her.
Please.
You understand that they can do that?
The WhatsApp group that was created with commanders, were they expected to send through the WhatsApp group specific items of information?
They had to summarize. The divisional commanders had to summarize what happened. You're talking about on election day,
Yeah.
or okay? They had to summarize some of the areas. We used the WhatsApp group, but there were some areas you could not have used WhatsApp group because of the internet connection. So some of the persons were using their pocketbooks. But you had to send information as to when poll started, the build-up of poll during the day, if there were any incidents happened during the polling place. During the day, you had to send in the afternoons, coming up to 6 o'clock when you're going to close, you have to state, well, you have to put the police behind the last person in the line, and then when you finish and the police remains there until the counting is completed, and then they were told that you have to take a photograph. The areas where you could have taken the photograph, you had to take a photograph of the, yes.
And that information was sent to police headquarters.
To police headquarters.
I will wait until we get the
Yes.
evidence that was laid earlier.
Councillor, you wish to
Sure. Ma'am, you said that you prepared a statement of the events around the 5th of March 2020.
No, I did not say prepare a statement on the 5th of March.
Well, I think that you did at the very beginning of your test.
She said generally.
She said a statement of the events.
Generally, after election completed, I prepared a document, a statement generally, but not on the 5th of March. I never said that.
No, I said around the 5th of March.
No, when you said around the 5th of March.
Okay, let's not get into an argument.
No, I'm not in an
I am
argument with
referring-
council. Please.
Madam,
Yes.
you told us that you prepared a statement when you began your testimony today, correct?
Yes, I said that.
Was this while you were still Deputy Commissioner of Police?
Yes, on the 13th of May 2020, I summed my statement together.
Was this at the request of anyone?
No, it wasn't on the request of anyone.
Can you explain to us in what context you prepared that statement?
I had no context to prepare the statement, but I think I prepared a statement, but there was no context in preparing the statement, but it worked well for me now.
So you prepared that statement as Deputy Commissioner of Police at the time, correct?
Yes.
And that was an official document because you were preparing it in the context of your recollection of your official duties, correct?
Well, it was not an official document because it was not requested. It was a personal document for myself.
And where did you say this was in May of 2020?
Yes.
So where did you get the records which informed your May 2020 statement? Which records did you refer to?
I had my diary that I was making notes as to the various events as it unfolded.
And when you say your diary, I take it you mean your official diary under the standing orders
Yes.
of the Guyana Police?
No. It was a diary that you were given yearly. It's not an official, nothing with a standing order. It's every year you're being given a diary, January to December. That
Yes,
you
ma'am,
stuff inside.
your Guyana Police Force standing orders require you to get diaries. Is that what you're referring to?
No, the diaries that the Guyana Police Force requires you to get is one at the station where you book your time and you book all the events that happen at a station.
But the Guyana Police Force also gives you another diary for you to record what you are doing as a police officer, correct?
Yes, and a pocketbook.
And you made records in that diary for March 2020?
From November 2021.
Will you answer my question? Did you make any records in that diary which we have just spoken about for March 2020?
Yes, I made for March 2020.
April 2020?
Until the 5th of August when I left.
Thank you. And I take it you have that with you?
No, I don't have that diary with me.
Where is it?
Well, it's at home or somewhere because I'm home 3 years now, so I cannot say. After I put it into a statement form, I think that was enough for me.
I see. So you may be able to look for it and produce it to us.
Well, I cannot see if I will be able to produce it. I cannot see.
Did you look for it in preparing for your testimony today?
No, I did not look for it because I had the statement, and after I finished with the statement and I put it here, I discarded it, the statement, but I have it here.
Right. So let's take away all the personal records which you as Deputy Commissioner of Police made between March and May 2020. Let's take away all your personal records. What I'm asking of you is what official records did you make of your activities from March 2020 to May 2020?
I would have signed a lot of official documents, and I would have made other records as pertaining to where I work. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes. So did you make a record then of what occurred at the meeting when the Commissioner of Police put Officer Thomas on patrol duty? Did you make a record of that?
No, I did not make a record of that.
Okay. Now, during the course of the day of the 5th of March, several things occurred at Ashman's building, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you will recall that around in the early hours of the morning, CID went to Ashman's building because there was an allegation that a man called Enrique Laivan was tampering with the results, or words to that effect. Were you aware that such a
No,
report
I'm
had
not
been
aware
made?
of that. I was aware that the police was there for a bomb scare.
Well, I'm suggesting to you that Mr. Thomas told you that there had been this incident and that CID had gone across to investigate that.
That is not true.
Where you had this radio set, you say. Let's examine that a little bit. Where did you say you got this from?
I got it from the Guyana Police Force.
And did Mr. Thomas have one?
Yes, he did.
So for this radio set to work, you say you had visual from your set, your handset.
Yes.
It must mean that there were cameras that your handset could access within the GCOM building, correct?
Not really. Not all, not certain parts. I said the entrance, straight up.
Did you not say that you could see the escalator and so on?
Well, the escalators to the entrance. When you get into the building there, the entrance, there is an escalator right in front of you there.
All right. So let's get this clear. Which parts of Ashman's building could you see?
You could see the escalator entrance straight up to the 3rd floor.
Okay. So you from your radio set could access the cameras positioned on the escalator moving up to the 3rd floor, correct?
Access which cameras?
Well, you had to see through a camera and
No,
also...
no. I don't know if you're talking about access a camera in the GCOM building or not. I need us to be specific because I am speaking of us with our police network, but I don't know if there were any cameras in Ashman, Maine, but it wasn't linked to our system.
So, tell me how it worked. Explain to me how it worked. You have your radio set.
Yes.
You were based at police headquarters. Yes?
Yes.
So you are looking on your screen on your radio handset, correct?
Yes.
And some piece of equipment is allowing you to see inside Ashman's building by the entrance and the escalator, correct? What is that?
Well, I am actually, respectfully, I'm not an IT technician. All that I know, that the set was given to us, we had a little training, and they put you on a channel. And from the channel that we were on, that is what we were viewing. But to give you all that fine details, I am not an IT technician to tell you what it was connected to. They gave the camera to us, they gave us the training how to use the camera, and the camera was from Huawei to the force to us, what to say if it had any connections to IT building, to the GCOM building at High Street, I don't know. I cannot say.
Well, ma'am, would you agree that common sense would tell us that there had to have been a camera which your radio was connected to for you to see inside the building?
Now, I cannot say what common sense would tell me, but I'm just speaking exactly what I know of the camera.
Were you the deputy head of operations? Did you not inquire, well, what is allowing me to see inside GCOM's building during an election? Did you make any inquiry along those lines?
No, I did not.
Can you tell us whether you had a reason for not making such an inquiry?
I had no reason.
Now, we have been told by Mr. Thomas that at about 10 o'clock that morning, he received information about a bomb scare at Ashman's building and that he went to Ashman's building. Are you able to dispute that?
It's not 10 o'clock, it was about between 8 and 9 in the morning, not 10.
No, ma'am, I'm telling you what the record says. We have evidence before this commission that at about 10 o'clock that morning, Mr. Thomas was advised of a bomb scare and he returned to Ashman's building. Are you able to dispute that?
I would not dispute about a bomb scare, but the timings. There was a bomb scare, but the timings, I am saying 9 and he's saying 10. But there was a bomb scare, but the timings.
Well, do you have any record which can assist us as to the accuracy of what you are saying? Because you have now been at home for 3 years.
No, I don't have any records.
So when you say that you called Mr. Thomas at about 10 o'clock and he was sitting down in his office at Brickdown, you are not correct. What are you looking at, please?
I'm looking at a paper that I seek permission to use.
Well, what is that? Is that a statement? Is that a statement?
It's
Madam?
not a statement, it's my jotting that I made at home.
From the state.
From the statement. No, I don't know, you know.
Mr. Graham, we are not here to...
No, Commissioner, I understand. Commissioner, I understand, you know, but it has to be a two-way process.
It is a two-way process. Just
Okay.
assist us. You know,
Okay.
you can rest assured. Nobody's trying to trap you or anything like that.
Nobody's, I know that, but still at
We
the
just
same
want to
time,
inquire.
you know.
We were not there. You were the liaison officer, and council is just trying to, perform us of our duties to inquire what happened.
Okay, sir.
So, that's,
Okay, Commissioner.
yes?
Yes. Now, ma'am, you told us that you knew the Deputy Chief Election Officer, Ms. Roxanne Myers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, we have evidence before this commission that you called Officer Thomas and told him that all party representatives and observers must vacate Ashman's building. We have evidence before this commission of that you were called by Thomas and you called Thomas and you told him all party representatives and observers must vacate the building. First thing, what do you say to that?
That is untrue. Total untruth.
And Thomas told you that a GCOM commissioner was there and there was concern about the security of the statements of polls. Did Thomas not say that to you?
We had no discussion about that matter. None whatsoever.
Myers, Miss Myers, the deputy CEO, spoke to you on the phone at around the same time. What do you say to that?
What time are we speaking about? Because Miss Myers never spoke to me on that day.
This was the afternoon of the 5th of March, 2020.
Not true. That is totally untrue.
And Ms. Myers, we have evidence before this commission that Ms. Myers complained to you that Thomas did not want to put people out of the building. We have evidence before the commission that you received such a complaint from Ms. Myers.
In what form you're speaking about it? She
Via telephone.
That is untrue.
And we have evidence before this commission that Ms. Myers asked you to send Senior Superintendent Azor instead.
That is not true, madam. Not true.
And we have evidence before this commission that shortly after you spoke to Ms. Myers, Senior Superintendent Azor arrived at Ashman's building.
Well, I cannot say if he arrived or not, but that is not true. I did not speak to Ms. Myers on that day.
Now, you say that on the following day, that is to say the 6th, there was a meeting at police headquarters.
I did not say I said either a day or two after. I said either a day or two after. I didn't say on the 6th.
And that was the day when Thomas was sent on patrol duty.
That was the day when he saw the commissioner face to face.
Sure. Now, did you at any time tell Mr. James that you couldn't find Thomas?
Yes, I give it in my evidence that I was calling him and he's not answering his phone. And then when I called the landline, he was in his office. I told Commissioner James that.
Yes, but ma'am, you have evidence that Thomas was at the scene at Ashman's building?
That was in the morning, madam. That was in the morning when he called me and he spoke to me in respect of the bomb scare.
You were not looking at your screen after that for the rest of the day?
I was looking at my screen, I was not seeing him, and that is why I called him and found him in his office, madam.
Do you know that there is evidence before this commission that Thomas remained at Ashman's building with one of GCOM's commissioners until he had to tell him that he couldn't protect him any further?
That was 19 hours the night when I spoke to Mr. Thomas. He was at the GCOM's building again. When I spoke to him at 19 hours, he was at the building. But the events that unfold prior, that I mentioned in my evidence, he was not at Ashman's building.
Madam, do you know that there is evidence before the commission that not only was Mr. Thomas there for the Livan incident, he was at Ashman's for the bomb scare incident. Do you know that?
Madam, I give it my evidence that he was there for the bomb scare incident and he left. I give my evidence to support that yes, he was there for the bomb scare in the morning and he left.
Was there any requirement for the commanders to stay at the offices of the returning officers for the entire day?
I am not saying that he should be there for the entire day, madam. Because you were telling me that he was there for the entire day, and then now you're asking me if there's a requirement.
No.
So I just want to know which one I should
answer my question, please.
I'm just asking which one.
Madam, will you answer my question, please?
Madam,
Which is?
Madam, please do not come a chair. I'm just asking for Madam Prosecutor not to raise her voice at me. I'm just asking.
I'm not a prosecutor.
Well,
she's counsel to the
commission.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Madam. As I said before, I'll just repeat. There's no need for us to get heightened about it. Let us all try and keep it at a certain level.
That is what I want. I want peace, but it doesn't seem so.
No,
like it's something,
Miss,
you know?
Keep it at a certain level.
Ma'am, do you accept that we can't both speak at the same time?
I accept that.
All right. Now, you said you had a separate WhatsApp group with Azor created before the election day, before E-Day.
Yes, madam.
So after you told, or after you knew that Thomas was no longer in charge, did you communicate with Azor?
That's not my duty to do that, madam. It's the duty of the Commissioner of Police.
No, you didn't ask whether did you ever communicate
No.
with Azor? That's what you did.
Yes, I communicate with him,
That is what you did.
but not in respect of him taking over the division.
No, she didn't ask.
Okay.
right? So did Azor tell you, or did Azor apprise you of the fact that there were armed TSU officers entering Ashman's building?
No, you did not tell me anything.
And did Azor tell you of the fact that he had escorted the chairman of GCOM out of Ashman's building?
Yes, I was aware because I was seeing that. So I know that he escorted her out of the building. I saw when they came out of the building.
Are you aware that the chairman said that she never spoke to the police on that day?
I'm not aware of that.
Did you speak to her?
No, I didn't speak to Cheryl.
Did Azor tell you that special branch officers had entered the building and were remaining in the building?
No, madam, he did not.
Now, when you met, well, you said you also were in a WhatsApp group with the deputies, correct?
Yes.
So one of the deputies would have been, or one of the deputies was, the head of the special branch, correct?
No, not with special branch.
So how would you communicate with special branch?
I don't communicate with special branch.
Who communicates
The
with?
commissioner and special branch.
So during the entire election, you had no communication with any special branch officers?
The officer in charge of special branch is a deputy commissioner, and he attends the same meetings that I do attend. But anything with a special branch unit, it speaks to the commissioner and the deputy commissioner.
Right. So if special branch officers went to that building, you as deputy, as head of operations would not know?
No, I don't.
I see. Now, you say that you saw what you described as a ruckus. I want to get the word correct. Yes? And can you identify for us who were the persons involved in that ruckus?
Various persons. Well, they were all in civilian clothing, but to say no, there was so much of people there were various like party agents and from various political parties and different other persons, but to give you specific names as per se, I really can't remember that.
Did you receive a complaint from Ms. Myers about a ruckus?
I said that already, no.
Okay. And nobody else from GCOM?
No.
So as far as you know, nobody was arrested at Ashman's building on that day?
I can't remember, madam, if anybody was, I can't remember now if anybody was arrested.
Okay.
That's right.
Were you aware that they had arrested the person who had called in the bomb scare?
Yes, a man. Mr. Thomas told me that they arrested a man. That is when we spoke in the morning, he told me that.
Yes. And this would have been after he had gone to Ashman's building and had tried to deal with the situation there. The arrest of this man was afterwards, correct?
Yes. He went there in the morning and sometime during the day the man was arrested.
Yes. And do you know whether that person was charged?
I can't remember, I don't think so though.
Now, when Mr. Thomas brought these things to your attention, or he spoke to you during the course of that day, I take it you were required to communicate that to the commissioner himself.
And Mr. Thomas was required to do it also.
Yes, I'm asking about you.
Yes. Whatever Mr. Thomas communicated with me or what he did communicate when we spoke about the bomb scare, I did communicate that to the commissioner.
Okay. Now, we have evidence before this commission that Thomas was right by the entrance, which you say you could have seen from your radio. Thomas was right by the entrance with Commissioner Gunraj up till the evening of the 5th. We have that evidence. Do you still stick to your account that you did not see Thomas there?
Madam, I said it and I'm going to say it again. I told you at 19 hours when I spoke to Mr. Thomas, he was there. So I just want us to get the events clear. At 19 hours when I spoke to Mr. Thomas and I told him of him being instructions from Commissioner, I told and I sent him my evidence and I told him I'm seeing you because he was there. That is around 19 hours, the afternoon. But when I talked to him, he was not answering his phone. It's early on in the day.
Now, I want to go back to these radios a little bit. When you go on the radio, is there not a procedure for that?
If you're using the radio, you have to communicate. But if you're using the camera to view, you don't have to communicate if you don't want to.
But if you use the radio, is there a log that has to be made?
Well, actually, when the radio is being given to you personally, there's not I don't have to log everything that I talk, but we have the force control who logs general things. But my phone, my system that I have is for my use. I don't have to log everything that I speak on the phone.
Right.
On the set.
But their force control is supposed to have a log of all communication on those radio sets,
But
correct?
not mine. They would have on the general flow, but not mine or Commissioner or maybe the other deputies.
Is there a reason for that?
Well, I cannot see if there's a reason.
I see.
But that is how it is.
Yes. Subject to some feedback from the
I
audiovisual
just have
people.
one question before.
Yes.
Mrs. Graham, you did speak of personal diary, official diaries, as the case may be. I'm not too sure how many diaries. But as I understand it, and you would correct me if I'm wrong, you had a diary issued to you by the Guyana Police Force, issued January to December.
Yes, sir.
In addition to that diary, is there another official diary issued to you?
No, sir.
So it's one diary issued to you,
To me, yes.
and that is considered an official diary,
Yes.
as opposed to a personal diary.
Yes.
That diary, are you required to submit that diary at the end of the year to the Commissioner?
No, sir. No. It's given to you for use and that's it. At the end of the year, if you want things that you need to transfer over to the new one that you need to work along with, that's it. But you don't have to hand the diary at the end of the year.
And so there is no diary, no document that you handed to the Commissioner at the end of the year.
No, sir.
Is there any report that you submitted to the Commissioner for the general elections of 2020?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir. Thank you. I think they were trying to get, I don't know, Madam.
Ms. Graham, you know that at the Ashlands building on the 5th of March, Yes.
May I just be permitted to step away from
Yes,
the podium?
certainly.
You're aware that on the 5th of March, there was elections-related activity at the Ashlands building.
Yes, sir.
Did you know that it was the verification of the Region 4 votes?
Yes. Yes, sir.
But before I ask this, did you at any time on your monitor see or hear Miss Myers in a loud tone calling on persons to vacate, clear out of the Ashlands building?
No, sir.
You never heard that?
No, I never heard that. And Commissioner, just to inform that even though you have this set, from time to time, it's not that you're glued to that particular activity. There are other things, you know, come in here and there.
Yes.
You understand? So I did not hear that. Washroom, different other things coming from time to time.
Now,
I did not hear it.
but at some point you became aware that the building was cleared.
In the evening,
You became aware
Yes.
that the building had been cleared. Did you at that point know whether the vote verification exercise had been completed?
I cannot recall if it was completed or not.
If it had not been completed, and the building was cleared of political party representatives and observers, it would have meant a disruption of the process.
Not a disruption, maybe they would have closed officially, so I cannot say if it
No,
was a
I'm
disruption
talking
or
about-
not.
No, the police cleared the building on the 5th of March. You don't know, you say, if the vote verification had been completed. I'm saying to you, if it had not been completed and the building was cleared by the police, that would have marked a disruption of, not that the police disrupted the counting deliberately.
I don't understand your question, Commissioner.
Let me go though.
Yeah,
The vote verification was in progress.
all day.
I'm asking you if you were aware on the 5th of March whether that vote verification had been concluded.
But I cannot see.
Let me ask you more specifically. Are you aware that a GCOM official made a declaration of votes for Region 4?
Yes,
You know that.
yes.
Now, and you know that later the building was cleared by Tactical Services Unit
Well,
personnel.
as I said earlier, I cannot say if it was cleared by the police or if the persons went on their own.
You didn't see any evidence on your monitor
No,
of TSU ranks ordering people out of the building.
no, sir. I saw when they entered the building and went and here, and you were hearing voices, but it's not something that you can pick up and hear.
We have evidence before the commission but I think you answered this showed that already. Says Gunraj, did you ever tell Mr. Thomas that he should not be in the building on the 5th of March?
Who should not be in the building?
Says Gunraj.
No, I never told Mr. Thomas that. Mr. Saysbury is a commissioner, so I never told Mr. Thomas that.
Mr. Thomas said that in your communication with him, you expressed the view that Mr. Says Gunraj should not have been there.
Never. I never told Mr. Thomas that.
Now, at this meeting, I'm going to try to bring this to an end,
Yes, sir.
which you said occurred about a day or two after when there was a face-to-face engagement
Yes.
between Mr. Thomas and the Commissioner of Police. Did the Commissioner ever make clear the reasons why he sent the Tactical Services Unit ranks there?
No, Commissioner. He said he from viewing, as the Commissioner, he said that.
He took that decision,
Yeah, he took that decision.
but he didn't say why.
No.
Okay. Was there a riot unit based at the Brick Dam Police Station?
Yes, they have a public order unit there.
But this unit that was sent came from Eve Leary.
Yes, Commissioner.
But the Brick Dam based unit was a block away.
Yes, Commissioner.
You wouldn't know why they were not called.
No, I don't think. I don't know why. I said again, Commissioner gave the instructions.
Yes. But can I ask you, one of the clear responsibilities of Commander Thomas was to make a determination whether there was need for either the special branch or the TSU in the Ashland building. That would have been his clear responsibility if the circumstances, in his opinion, warranted such a determination.
Well, maybe.
Would that have been the responsibility of Mr. Thomas? If, as the man on the ground, he sees a situation unfolding and he comes to the conclusion that the riot unit is needed, it was for him to so decide.
How the structure of the organization goes, you still have to make communication with the commissioner.
No, I'm not, that's a procedural issue.
Okay.
The determination of the need for the riot unit, that was something that fell to Mr. Thomas.
Which one of the riot units we're talking about? The one that came from headquarters or the one that bring that?
I don't know.
No, you.
If Mr. Thomas feels that the situation is unfolding at the Ashwin's building, which requires the intervention of the riot unit, it was for him to decide as the man on the ground, or no. He didn't have any such responsibility?
Yes, he had a responsibility.
Yes.
What I gather you saying, Graham, is that whilst it was for him to determine, the final
He had to
say
have,
would have been the commissioner of
yes, he
police
had to be in communication.
with the commissioner, that I feel this is required,
Yes.
and the commissioner would say yea or nay.
Thank you, Commissioner. Constant communication with the Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor, any?
Absolutely nothing else.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Graham. Thank you very much for attending. You've been extremely helpful to us.
Could I just place on the record that they could not find the spot in the audio.
That's all right.
They didn't have enough time to do it.
I don't wish to pursue.
Thank you. Excellent. Councillor, are there any other vacancies for today?
Not for today. We have a summons for one tomorrow.
That's it for now.
Yes. So we basically have to wait to see.
We have a little meeting with you immediately after, right?
Sure.
Hearing comes to an end for the day. Tomorrow morning at 9.